Greetings, everyone. I'm here to do a video for you guys. This is going to be some channel messages, okay? So it's not going to be just like one topic in particular. There's going to be many different things I'm going to kind of jump across. So the first one is, I was just thinking earlier about how you really never know something until you go through it. And sometimes people aren't going to resonate with your struggle because they haven't gone through it. So you could be in a space right now where you're just feeling misunderstood, feeling like nobody gets you. And honestly, sometimes people don't get you. Sometimes people choose not to get you. But there are those times when people feel like maybe what you're learning, what you said to them, or what you're experiencing isn't important because it's not on their timeline. It's not something that they are actively going through. So you can't let that frustrate you, because there could be some frustration right now just by feeling displaced or misunderstood. So I really wanted to touch on that. And then, like, the thing about that is as you grow, people are growing. So some of the stuff that you are going through or have been through, someone else is going to be coming behind you, learning those same lessons or going through those same things. And that's where it gets tricky, because that's the time when they're going to want to come rushing in to you to kind of like take you back to those moments so that you can grant them understanding on what they're going through. So it's kind of like that person that never shows up to class low key, but always kind of like comes up to you after class like, yo, what are we learning? Or in class just asking you questions, and you trying to keep up with the lesson that you guys are on now. But this person is like so behind that they're kind of like distracting you from keeping up with the lesson at hand. So that's where you got to learn to kind of like maybe shoot this person your notes, but don't allow this person's naivete or ignorance, or just not willing to do the work themselves, or not willing to listen and learn, be a distraction for you, keep you from evolving. Because sometimes that happens. People look at you and they kind of like laugh at what stage you're in, or they shrug it off. Whatever lessons you're learning, they shrug those off, and it's kind of like they don't get it. And then once they finally have to experience the things that you're going through or you've been through, that's when they get it. And that's when they want to kind of backtrack, and they could try to keep you stuck. So just stay focused, because it can get a little confusing when you're really trying to get on your path and trying to find the right way to go. Some of those people are from your old associations, people that you just swore you'd never grow away from, people that you just always keep around, and there's a lot of sentimentality wrapped up in that. So you could feel like maybe you're betraying someone just because you're growing and you no longer want to like participate in certain shit anymore. But you can't hold yourself hostage to the past, and people can't hold you hostage to the past either. And it's like sometimes when you're growing, that's when people will say to you like, well, you used to do this, you used to do that, you used to be this way. And that can kind of trigger you to feel like, are you being like stuck up or bougie or something like that. But it's just like, you feel so much and you just don't want to repeat the patterns of the past, because a lot of that stuff didn't grant you any substantial growth. It could have just been a situation or a friendship or something to pacify you while you were like ignoring your higher self calling you to take this journey into self. And that journey into self will warrant a lot of solitude. And sometimes you grow codependent on certain people in your lives, and they grow codependent on you, and then it's like you can't grow because you feel like growth is betrayal to them, it's leaving them behind, and things of that nature. But that's unfair to your spirit, and that's unfair to them too. They're being unfair if they're trying to keep you stuck in an old rut that's just not growing anything. Nothing's growing there. You could look back across the years and see what certain relationships have grown with you or away from you, or what you guys have grown together. And so I think a lot of you guys are in that timeline right now. And some of you are in this really compassionate space where you kind of still want to hold on to people so that they don't feel discarded. But then at the same time, it's like they say and do little things that could possibly be triggering you to feel like you have to separate even further. And so maybe you got to reason with yourself and see like the pros and cons of that. Because a lot of times we don't just have spiritual issues. We have mental health issues, emotional issues, childhood traumas, all types of things that shape up the way we have relationships with people. And sometimes people just always think cutting everybody off is the only way to fix things. But some relationships that are healthy, we're talking about healthy relationships, can be salvaged. You know, you can talk about it. You guys can, listen to each other. And so maybe you got to kind of figure out like what relationships in your life are on that level as opposed to just cutting people. But I do feel like there are some relationships in your life that do need to be severed, and you can't grow anxious about the separation. Now, like, one thing that I feel like a download I've been getting lately is that, like, it's just about to be some crazy times, and we truly have to, like, find our tribe or be with our loved ones that are there for us, you know? And we got to stick by those people. We got to find the true tribe, you know, our spirit family, our soul family, and we got to stick with those people and start to build some things. It's like land and ownership is so important right now so that you can have like a very secure home to be in, growing your own food, making your own medicines, just really leaning toward that holistic lifestyle and as much as off the grid as you can. Because I feel like what's going on is it's like a lot of new businesses booming, like entrepreneurship and shit. Everybody in the world was just making a lot of money. It was a lot of shit going on. And I feel like the government kind of devised a plan to slow that down. You notice a lot of mom and pop shops have been closed, and some of your favorite restaurants closed down, and stores and, you know, things like that, little convenience stores or smoke shops. And so it's like you really got to try to find your niche right now and just do the best you can to secure everything, you know, because it seems like they want us like really dependent on them, especially to tell us when to come outside and when to go inside and all of these things. And this is not like coming from a place of fear. This is coming from a place of wisdom and preparedness. And I talk to you guys about that a lot in the High Priestess readings, because you don't always want hindsight to be your best teacher. You don't always want to be like, dang, if I would have just did this, I would have had this and this would be secure. It's kind of like just staying ready so you ain't got to get ready type vibe that we in right now. And if you got some solid people on your team that you can trust, y'all need to make y'all bonds tighter than ever, but genuinely tight, you know, like to the point where you guys can communicate telepathically. You guys can you just know each other on a soul level. I feel like all the superficial relationships have been being detoxed from our lives. And so a lot of people who have separation anxiety or abandonment issues and codependency issues have really been taking that hard. And so they've been pulling on your energy from afar because they feel like you bring them some sort of security. And that's fine, but at the same time, Your energy has to be for you at times. You can't always have your energy in the service of others, because then you don't have enough for yourself, and you have to take time and rejuvenate, and you have to grow. And sometimes when people have done things that makes you want to be distant from them, or that you feel like you need to heal from before you can reestablish any type of communication or relationship with them, sometimes people will try to like rush you into healing. They'll try to rush you into forgiveness. And they do that as like a knee-jerk reaction so that you could stay in alignment with whatever it is that you bring into their lives. And sometimes it's just coming from a very selfish need for them to feel vindicated or to feel forgiven. And it doesn't even mean that they're going to change and do right by you. They just want to know that like you forgive them. They just want to know that like y'all still cool, so that they don't have any guilt on them. Sometimes people want your forgiveness just for them. It has nothing to do with you. So some of you guys could be struggling with that. Like, how do I forgive, and or should I forgive? Or, it's just a lot of like grief, or I just feel like a lot of going back and forth in your head right now about scenarios and about people, and you can just feel from a distance people who are wanting your attention right now, or wanting you to say something. And for some of you guys, you don't really have anything nice to say. And for the other part of you guys, some of you feel like whatever you say will fall on deaf ears anyway. Like, they'll just listen to respond. They won't comprehend what you're feeling. They won't have any emotional intelligence. Like, you just feel like it would be useless to say something to certain people. And I get it. So maybe you're in like this solitude, and you don't want to say anything because you don't want to get pulled into something. You don't want to get pulled into a conversation that will lead nowhere. So I was just really thinking about that for you guys. Like, maybe you're just going through your head about a lot of different things right now. A lot of you are concerned if you're on the right path or not in your spiritual journey. And you have to know that like your spiritual journey is signature to you. You can't look at where other people are on their journey in comparison. Comparison is like the thief of joy. So if you're looking at someone else's journey, whatever they're allowing you to see, because the journey is not physical all the time. It's not just material. It's a spiritual journey for a reason. You can't see the spirit. So you don't even really know what people are going through. You don't even know like how they got to that part of their journey that they're on, all the trials and tribulations, just like people don't know that about you. So on your journey, it's not wise to just be like looking in comparison to like, oh, well, they doing this, they know this, they got this. It's their journey. That's what spirit, the universe gave them along their journey. And you're going to get things too. And you're going to see things, and things will be revealed to you. And you're going to start to step more into your power. And then comparison will start to seem foolish, because you know that like everything has its season. And so you're in this space of seasons, and you're seeing like, damn, everybody do got their season. And you're going to be looking back at how far you've come. That's one of the most beautiful things about healing and growth, is when you look at how far you've come. You look at where you were maybe 6 months to a year ago to where you are now. And if you see certain patterns that you don't like, that's when you start to do that shadow work. And shadow work is just like seeing those things that you don't like about yourself, not the physical. I'm talking about the things you may think that nobody knows but you in spirit. The things that you brood about, that you're angry about, the stuff that you've been through, the trauma that has shaped your idea of relationships. It's like you're going to start to, that's part of the shadow work. You're going to start to do that, and then you're no longer going to want to compare. Because sometimes some stuff that people had to go through on their journey to get to where they are right now, you wouldn't even want to face. So it's no use to have spiritual envy. It's no use to want to like covet other people's things or whatever you feel, their spirit, their energy, their ideas or whatever, because you don't know what they've been through. And if you had to swap traumas with people, you probably would want yours right back. If you had to put your problems in front of someone else's and take theirs, you probably not even want to touch that. So I say that because like sometimes the things that people have to go through are what gets them certain blessings, and it's not visible to the eye. It's not something you're gonna know in 2 minutes of talking to someone, or 2 weeks, 3 days of getting to know someone. And you know, it's like, so just try not to be, I just think you should just be mindful, because it's always on the internet that people are showing you parts of their spiritual journey. And I still haven't found that video that I was telling you guys about the social engineering that they used when creating these apps, and how they specifically made them to cause jealousy and envy within people. And so you got to be careful of your thoughts when you're scrolling. You got to really be mindful, because if not, there are trickster spirits. Not every spirit needs to be invited in. And there are trickster spirits that will plant some type of seed in your mind that makes you feel like you have a right to be envious, or you have a right to want what someone else has, or you have a right to feel like someone doesn't deserve their gifts and stuff. And it's just a lot of that going around, guys. So you just got to be careful about who you are allowing in your home. We are in very high chaotic spiritual times, as well as beautifully blissful spiritual times. So it's like we gotta choose, not even choose, we gotta learn how to balance that shit out. We gotta be wise enough to spot the trickster spirits and not allow them in, and we gotta be wise enough to enjoy the beautiful times. I've noticed there's just been another trend within spirituality lately, that it has to all be about sadness. It has to all be about trauma. It has to all be about past broken, fucked up relationships. That when someone does finally talk about the beautiful parts of spirituality and the gifts and the joys that you do experience as well on this journey, you kind of looked at like you said the most evil shit ever. And that's because a lot of you guys don't understand that we are being socially programmed on these apps to only trauma bond 24/7. And it's always about the ex that did us wrong, or the fake friends, or this and that. And it's just every day it's the same shit, just reworded. And it's like at some point Spirit's like, well damn, I'm giving you all these other things to be grateful for. I'm giving you this solitude where you have peace of mind and you don't have anybody fucking with you, but you still relive in the past about how people did you in the past, and I've already removed them. So it's like, if you've already had people and things being removed from you, now's the time to take a deep breath and really sit down and look at everything you have to be grateful for. And this ain't even on no material shit, because with the way I'm telling you, with the way the world is now, nobody really cares about material shit anymore. I mean, some do, but for the majority of the people that have seen the darkness, that have made it through the hardest times and seen what really matters, they don't care about material shit and all this fake, phony friendships and mess. Like, they're really trying to strive for peace of mind. They're really trying to like get their house in order. They're really trying to make something of themselves. And it doesn't have nothing to do with the physical for a lot of you. It's all internal, and you just really facing your own demons and pushing through. also, like, start forgiving yourself. If you've done some things that you're not proud of, and you have to go to spirit, go to your ancestors, your guides, your higher power, whatever you resonate with, you have to go to them and admit, at least to them, at least to yourself, that you know you've done some fucked up shit, so that you can start healing from that too, because we all make mistakes. Ain't none of us perfect, but some of you could be holding like a lot of guilt, and that could be blocking your creative energy. It could be blocking like your happiness, because maybe in the back of your mind, even though things are going well around you, you still got guilt from the past, or guilt that was given to you, or there's just I feel like a lot of guilt coming through, like people just feeling guilt or wanting others to feel guilty. It's just a lot. And when you're a highly sensitive being, like some of us are, you can pick that up, even if it's something that people think they're trying to conceal from you, or even if you are hiding it from yourself, so you think. When you in those quiet moments at night, when nobody's around, and that's when your conscious starts to talk to you, which is just your higher self telling you, yo, we got to clear this out so we can move on, so we can breathe again, so we can be happy again. And everybody talks about forgiving people. What about forgiving ourselves? Forgive yourself for the times you didn't listen to your intuition. Forgive yourself for the times that you were wrong to someone unnecessarily. You know, like, just what we all have different things that we could forgive ourselves for, but that's part of that shadow work too. Shadow work is not just beating yourself up. Shadow work is like talking to yourself. Like, you know you was fucked up when you did that, and accepting the consequences of that. You know, like just being real with yourself. Because how we going to be real with other people around us if we in denial 24/7? If we not even telling ourselves the truth about ourselves, you know what I mean? So you got to have like that discipline and that compassion with yourself. Nobody else is going to really tell you the shit that you could tell yourself. I mean, sometimes people might tell you some shit, and sometimes people need to be told some shit. Because there's a lot of self-deluded people, you know, who just feel like they ain't never did nobody wrong, and if they did, they deserved it. And that's that narcissistic spirit that has been taking over a lot of people, and they don't even see it, you know. You catch somebody doing something, and they more mad at you for calling them out on it than they are apologetic for doing it. And you just gotta learn, like, some shit you just gotta let go. They did what they did, and it's good because now you found that out. Some of you guys don't even know that, like, you guys have been rescued from seeing the worst parts of people. And those were the relationships that you was probably praying and begging and burning candles on to keep, and doing the honey jars and the baths and sweetening baths, and spirit was like, nope, just knocking that shit out your hand each time. And instead of being envious or bitter or sad about it, think like, what was they trying to save me from? Because spirit sees all. When you're not with that person, spirit sees what that person is doing. Whether this is family or friends or your lover, whatever. So it's like, if spirit sometimes comes in to remove people from you, and you know you ain't did nothing to them, you know y'all didn't fall out, oh no, you did some messed up stuff, sometimes that spirit removing them because they can't go on your journey. You don't know what they were doing when they were away from you, how they really spoke of you, how they really thought of you, how they really rated you, you know what I mean? So you got to start looking at shit like that, like, damn, maybe that was removed from me because it could have harmed me in the future. And also you got to know that in relationships, there's always going to be growth. So the people you were attracted to at 16, 17 ain't even the same type vibe now. You wouldn't even want that anymore now. That wouldn't even be enough to sustain you now. And so you got to start allowing that growth to happen. People got to allow that growth to happen in their lives and in other people's lives. Because nobody wants to always be having the past dangled over their head when they know they've been doing work and growing and healing. And it's been a lot of healing that has to take place, because a lot of shit just, it's like a whole can of worms has been opened in 2020, that 2020 vision. And it's just, everything is out there now. Everything is out on the table. And some people are still in denial. They feel like, since you didn't physically see what happened or what they did to you or said about you, that you don't know. But a lot of you guys get spiritual downloads, and maybe for some of you, the reason you have to learn lessons in relationships is because maybe that has always been your kryptonite. You know what I mean? Like relationships, love, having somebody all the time. Maybe that's one of the things that has always been a part of your downfall, or a part of a lesson you've had to learn. You can always trace it back to like a guy or a girl or something, you know? And we gotta know that, like, we not alone on this planet. There's spirits, like I said, trickster spirits. There's all kinds of things. So you just gotta, like, stay focused, man. It's a lot. But so yeah, a lot of you guys have been saved from a lot that you don't even realize, you know? And it's because certain people had to be removed, and you gotta just let that be. Everybody gotta let shit be right now. If we want to be happy, everything can't be an issue all the fucking time. Like, everything can't be an issue. And sometimes people have been through so much pain that everything is an issue for them, and they feel rightly so that it should be. So those are the ones that are always got their eyebrows raised. You know what I mean? Shoulders tensed up. They waiting to be offended. They're waiting to be hurt. And so that's how they deal with everybody in their lives. And and sometimes it becomes such a part of them that they don't even see it. And then you go in with your happy-go-lucky ass, maybe trying to love on somebody, trying to be there or whatever, and they just got this get you before you get me type attitude. And so, yeah, it's like, it's just a whole lot, man. So, Spirit has been placing a lot of people in solitude so that they can heal certain things, so that they don't carry that attitude and that pattern into every relationship. You know, because sometimes we don't give ourselves a time limit. I mean, we don't give ourselves a time slot to, like, heal from shit. Some of us just go straight to the next relationship without even taking time to see or heal or fix or anything. And sometimes women, we be carrying years and years of trauma in our wombs. You know, like failed relationship after failed relationship, we hold that guilt, that sadness, that pain right there in our wombs. And then it's harder to open up. Or then we only open up for sex, but we emotionally closed off. Or, you know, we just feel like happiness is always in the next partner. And there's men like that too, that feels like happiness is only in the next woman, and they can't sit alone for a minute, you know? And so there's a lot of good that's coming out of everything that's going on, because a lot of people are just being forced to sit with themselves. They're being forced to look in the mirror. And there's this spiritual transcending that's happening, and solitude is the way you get there. And it's so, like, a lot of people be like, well, I'm lonely, I just want to link up with people that are like me. You will, but it's just gonna be in moderation. This whole thing has taught a lot of people who need lots of people around them all the time probably how to be by themselves. But you know what? Honestly, I don't really believe that in a whole way, because some people didn't even care about any of this, so they was still doing whatever, which is cool, you know. So they probably was never alone anyway. I feel like a lot of us was in quarantine before quarantine even popped, so we just stayed in that zone anyway. Like, oh, we just chilling, you know. But yeah, is that it, guys? I think that's it. Let me think, because I didn't write nothing down, but I had so much I wanted to say to you guys. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. But yeah, y'all about to start seeing a lot. That's what I wanted to say. Y'all about to start seeing a lot of shit pop off. Like, just a lot of things being revealed to you. A lot of truths coming out. But then you also gonna like experience a lot of peace. I feel like a lot of peace is gonna be coming to some of you guys. I think some of you guys are gonna like go and talk to the people who you feel like the relationship is salvageable. I feel like you're gonna start making peace with a lot of things in your lives, and just really starting to come from more of a place of love and not fear and not anxiousness, and just being more understanding. I think we need a lot more understanding in this world than we have. I feel like everyone just takes everyone at face value now, like some 60-second video, and don't even really get to know the depths of people. And so when you start showing people the depths of you, that you're multifaceted, that you're not just the one idea they had made up about you in their minds, that can either intrigue people to want to learn more about you, or that can offend people because they're going to feel like you are not being authentic. But it's always the responsibility, I feel like, of the person that's getting to know you to ask the right questions, not to just assume. And then you choose how vulnerable you want to be with people. People are allowed to choose how vulnerable they want to be with us. And we can't try to force that. We can't try to rush in. You know, we just gotta allow things to have a nice climax. You know what I mean? When getting to know ourselves and getting to know new people. That's one of the things that's gonna be important for you guys, is just knowing new people and knowing how to just be patient and getting to know people, being patient into going into these relationships, and not really feeling like you have to be performing all the time within relationships. That's important too. So yes, guys, I just wanted to come in and give you this channel message real quick and inspire you guys to stay encouraged and not to allow yourselves to be distracted. Okay, sending you love, peace, and balance.